Hello everybody reading this. This is relatively my first time talking on the internet, but I decided I needed to share this. I've had this story for years now, but I couldn't actually share it because, well, there's not really any evidence backing up my story. Besides, well, a few screenshots, of course, but I decided to finally just share it now. It started as a nice Friday. It was the last day of school I had until a major holiday. We had something like 9 days off. I was in 6th period with my friends talking about TF2 when one guy butted in and asked if we knew about the Scout. We looked at each other with confusion and said, obviously, he's like the most popular class in the game. His expression became more serious and he looked at us. No. I'm talking about the Steam account. Scout. Muselk made a new video on about him. Apparently he's really good at the game and has something like 1 billion hours logged. Me and my friends called bullshit. Right when he was about to say more, the bell rang. Before I walked out, he pulled out a piece of paper and wrote his Steam username. He told me to add him. Later in the day, on my way home on the bus, I was scrolling through Muselk's newer videos. Nope, no Scout video. Was this kid just trying to get a friend or something? I rushed off the bus into my house and went straight to my PC to boot up Steam. I typed in his name and friended him. I decided to trade some stuff because my inventory was really cluttered, and this was around the era of Australium being a huge thing in the community. I went to community servers and joined a trade server. As I was loading in, that kid from my class added me back. I also didn't say his name. His name is Blueberry876, but I guess I'll just be calling him Blue. Blue started a call and I hesitated, but decided, what the hell. I joined. He had a really shitty, something like a beach turtle mic, and I could really barely hear him, but we actually got along pretty well. We were in the middle of talking about our favorite classes and weapons when the trade server finally loaded in. Welcome to Warhead Trades, it read. It had a really shitty banner that looked like it took about 5 minutes max to make. I brushed it off and clicked continue. Blue asked if I wanted to talk about the Scout. I said sure, and I added that Muselk must have privated or deleted his video because it wasn't showing up for me. He said that it apparently got shut down by YouTube because it was causing harm. He said Muselk posted a screenshot of that on his Twitter. I ran around the map for a few seconds waiting to trade when suddenly a Scout with a ghostly gibbous and pyrovision goggles appeared right in front of me. In the chat he asked me, would you like to trade? I said yes, and he requested a trade. I accepted. I guess I wasn't talking in the call that much with Blue because he asked if I was okay. I said I was fine and explained that a Scout was standing there right in front of me. For whatever reason, he asked for the Scout's name. I looked all over the trade screen, but I just couldn't find it. I told him I didn't know. He told me that he was going to request to watch my game to see what's happening. I accepted the pop-up and he told me that what's on my screen is really weird. Usually the other person you're trading with name would pop up along with the trade menu. I told him it was probably a bug or something, and he agreed. I put in the chat and asked what he was trading. This is when stuff started getting really weird. He added a scattergun. At first I thought this was normal until I heard the name. The name read, Give Me Ref. Okay, that's weird. Why wouldn't he just use the chat feature instead of going through the trouble of naming a scattergun what he wants to actually say? Blue started talking. Okay, this is weird. Just cancel the trade. I said no way, because this guy could have some cool stuff. If he blew money on a name tag just to communicate via scatterguns, then this guy could have some unusuals or something. I moved my mouse over to my inventory and dragged over 5 refined metals. I was going to use those to craft, but I decided that this guy could trade me something cool. He added a melee from his inventory. I looked at it for a few seconds, and I wondered if this was a new melee, because I've never seen it before. It said it was for the Scout. It looked like a huge kitchen knife, and was called the Cuisine Karma. It looked really cool, and I was about to accept it until Blue shouted, "Wait, don't accept that!" He said that his brother was traded the same weapon, and a day later his account was banned. I jolted back, away from my mouse, but quickly returned to cancel the trade. I opened the scoreboard and In a quick second before this guy left, I saw his name. It read, The Scout. I was in utter disbelief. I then heard from Blue's mic a loud banging. He said that he had to go and he'd call me later. It was getting late, but I couldn't just go to sleep. I ended up scouring the internet for hours to find any evidence of this dickhead. I stumbled upon a Reddit post explaining the exact same thing that happened to me. I figured it was some bot or hacker or something, so I opened Steam and typed in this guy's name. There that bastard was. The Scout, it read off of my screen. I clicked his account and quickly trade requested this guy. You might think I'm a dumbass for this, and yeah, you're right. He accepted seconds after I requested, despite him being offline when I actually trade requested him in the first place. He added a Sandman named...
So, you really want that knife?
I typed yes. For some reason, I felt I needed that knife. He added a bonk named...
I paid Blue a visit. I guess you could say I captured Blue's point.
I stopped. My room more silent than ever. He slowly took off the bonk and added a force of nature. My eyes were watering as I started to hover closer and closer to the force of nature. My heart growing faster the closer I get to it. I finally reached the weapon. My heart stops. It read my full home address. Before I had time to think, he added a bat, which read my full phone number. I was shaking, when suddenly my speakers had a blaring, loud, laughing sound. It sounded like, the Scout? He stopped laughing and said,
Consider this a warning.
I stopped. I canceled the trade and blocked the Scout, uninstalled TF2, and shut off my laptop. I didn't sleep that night, and that whole holiday was miserable. When I finally got back to school, my pal Blue was there. He looked like he hadn't slept for the past 3 days, and he explained that night, someone broke into his house and left a note. The note read, Never trade with the Scout.